And good afternoon for everyone entering this call. This is our first free webinar series of the month. Medyo mabagal lang simula natin, no, Gabby? Because we normally do our free webinars either first or second week. But I feel that with the amount of preparation that we have for this topic, that it will really be a success.
Yes, Alma. And we're seeing a lot of new names and, of course, some of our regulars in our participant list. So good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Maybe let's get some engagement from the crowd. Um, Maybe you could tell us what your name is and where you're tuning in from. Please send nyo lang sa chat box. Ayan, we have a lot of good afternoons. Ayan, good afternoon.
Live po.
And picture selfie.
So we have Reka, we have Mirna joining our call this afternoon. We also have Michelle and Elaine.
Ayan, we have si Kim na nagpapa-shoutout na BS Psychology from Urdaneta University, Pangasinan area. Yan, welcome, good afternoon. Okay, good afternoon for Deliza from RNH Realty. Yan, good afternoon. Ayan, meron tayong taga Cagayan de Oro. Pwede nyo rin po i-share kung saan kayo nag-tune in. Ayan, we have one from Davao City. Good afternoon, everyone.
We have Angie from Cebu.
Ayan, we have Florence from Baguio City. We have si Miss Diana from LGU, Cavite.
Wow.
Okay. I love that we're getting such a huge number so quickly. Gabby, I wanna talk about this topic that we're gonna have for today. Let's set the context for everyone. So what we're gonna be having today is from bossing to mentoring, what a mentoring culture can do in the workplace. And I wanna start us off with a poll that I hope that everyone will be able to access. I want to ask you guys. I want to ask you guys this. Who here has worked for a toxic boss? Kasi naman, Gabi, di nga natin maiwasan na kahit isang beses sa buhay natin, we have worked with a toxic boss.
Yes, I agree with you, Alma. But at
And,
least once in our lives, we have.
And we're actually getting a good mix, no? Of I do and I don't. That's actually also great to hear that there's a lot of people here who have not worked for a toxic boss. Maybe swerte ka na wala ka pang na-encounter na toxic boss, or maybe you're new in the industry and you haven't experienced anyone. That's also a really good thing. But I guess we can see here, no, from the poll from the get-go, that there's still a lot more people who have experienced a toxic boss as opposed to those who have not. That's one of the things that we want to tackle in our free webinar series this April. How a boss can be much more. And we have invited many speakers to make that come into reality. So ayan, thank you for everyone participating in the poll. So without further ado, no, Gabi, I guess we can start. Let's introduce ourselves. Hi, everyone. My name is Alma, and I am the Wellbeing Services Associate, as well as the host for the webinar this afternoon. And joining me is my very wonderful co-host.
Yes, and I'm Gabby. I'm the Learning and Development Associate of Positive Workplaces. And we're very, very happy to have you here with us this afternoon.
Yes. And we always like to start our free webinar sessions with the mission of Positive Workplaces, which is that we co-create cultures that enhance the well-being of the Filipino workforce. How do we do that? We start with leading the self. And we do this through this webinar that you're attending, our trainings, our courses. These activities that we do are designed to help a person become a better leader of their own well-being. And once they are better at leading themselves, they can then now learn to lead others. Yung favorite na analogy ng boss namin dito is, sa aeroplano, pag bumababa yung oxygen mask, di ba sasabihin nila sa'yo, put the mask on before you help the person to your left or right. It doesn't matter if it's a child or an elderly, you need to learn how to help yourself first before you help others. We follow that same ideology here. And once you can now lead others, you can influence cultures and you can promote these positive cultures that we like to promote here in positive workplaces, like compassion, team cohesion, and much more. And once these cultures are going freely around, that paves the way for positive workplaces. And that's what we're trying to achieve here in the Philippines.
And yes, since we really value leading the self, so the Positive Workplaces team curated this special April theme of webinars, The Boss I Want to Be. Kasi, di ba, pag naisip natin yung mga bosses that we had, we also have this parang thought in mind, di ba, Alma? Na sinasabi natin na ayoko maging ganyan or gusto kong maging ganyan. So
Yes.
this afternoon, we are going to equip you with different knowledge. Kaya sana dun sa mga next webinars today and next week makasama kayo because we are going to show you the power of a mentor, coach, and confident leaders.
Yes. And these are very interesting topics, and I hope that you guys can learn from it so you can become the boss that you want to be. So before we start, now we have some reminders that we want to tell everyone. Gabby, why don't you start us off?
We hope that you have another device or just be ready to go to another link because we are going to use Mentimeter and Pigeonhole so that we can enhance your engagement this afternoon. And we also hope that you have a paper and pen ready because grabe, just going through the slides this afternoon, I'm pretty sure you are going to have a lot of notes afterwards that you'd like to keep so that you can apply them in your daily life.
Yes, and we'd like to encourage everyone to be engaging. We have a chat box, but the only thing we ask is you please be respectful to everyone in the chat box as well. For those interested, we issue certificates at the end of our program, and you'll be getting that through the evaluation form, in which we will be posting a link after. Additional reminders lang for that is you make sure that you write your full name and your email address because what you place there will be reflected on the certificate itself. So let's not make a mistake there. And lastly, I just want to remind everyone that if you have not received your certificate after answering the evaluation form, kindly wait at least 2 days before following up through our email. Kasi sa dami naman ng tao na gusto ng evaluation form, may delay talaga yan minsan. So ayan, we have a very exciting session today. Like I mentioned at the start, it's called From Bossing to Mentoring, teaching us about the mentoring culture in the workplace. And we have with us the very wonderful Maribel Aglipay. Just to give you a little bit of introduction, she's also known as Mentor M, and she is a talent development practitioner specializing in mentoring and mentoring program development. She was also PSTD's first Gawad Maestro awardee in 2011 for championing workplace learning and performance improvement. She's also a consultant partner of the Center of Innovation, Change, and Productivity. She serves clients from different sectors and industries here and abroad. And just additional information, she also lives with her 2 adult children and looks after her 85-year-old mother and 7-year-old border collie mix named Jack in their home in QC. So without further ado, I forward the floor to you, Miss Maribel. Hi, Miss Maribel, you might be muted po.
Sorry, I'm in silent mode. Thank you for that kind introduction and fun introduction, mentioning my dog. So welcome everyone. I'm really excited to be here with you this afternoon because for a long time I haven't conducted a workshop that included students. And so when John told me that there will be students in the room, that kind of challenged me to make my inputs more relevant to them. So I had to interview my son this morning to find out the student experience during his time, because my time as a student is so long ago. And life must be different already by this time. So anyway, welcome to this 1.5-hour session. And the title of our session is From Bossing to Mentoring, Building a Mentoring Culture in the Workplace. When I saw the word culture, I got a little intimidated because when we talk about culture, that's a very big concept. No? And so maybe just to level off expectation, we're not going to build a culture, but we're going to help you develop habits that will help build a culture, that might help build a culture, no? Sige. So, do I have remote phone? There. Okay, sige. So what do we have in store for you this afternoon? We have the following. First, we talk about what is the difference between a boss and a mentor, because that's exactly the reason we're here. Now, we want to differentiate a boss from a mentor so we can decide which role we would rather play most of the time. Then we'll also talk about the difference between mentor and a coach, because every time I run a program, this question always crops up. What is the difference between coaching and mentoring? So let's talk about this so we can get this out of the way. And when we talk about mentoring, we know that we're talking about the same thing. Third, I'm also going to talk to you about the various types of mentoring. And why is this important? Because when you want to build a mentoring culture, you want to encourage all forms of mentoring. So we must see all of the different configurations of mentoring so we can cultivate that in the organization. And then let's talk about what benefits will mentoring give the mentee, the mentor, and even the organization. This is a very win-win setup. That's why a lot of people like to set up mentoring programs. And if you do it right, you can get the results that this particular intervention promises. And finally, let's talk about how do we actually build a mentoring culture. So I'm going to share with you some mentoring hacks from the perspective of being a manager yourself. And if you're a mentee, how can you also develop that relationship with another individual who you can consider a mentor? Okay, does this set of topics look exciting for you, worth your afternoon? Can you put your thumbs up? Ox ba to? I cannot see the participants. Can you just tell me if you're seeing a significant number of thumbs up? Well, I can see some in the chat box. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, may heart pa. O, di ba? Sige. So let's start this discussion of ours and try to understand what a boss is versus a mentor. To do that, I'd like us to get into a little exercise, and this is a Mentimeter. Could you go to this link of the Mentimeter and answer the question, what comes to mind when you see or hear the word boss? Sige nga, let's see. Oops. Okay. So I should stop, no? So you can show the... Ay, nasa inyo nga pala yung control. Sige. Could you project the Mentimeter page so we can see how people are responding? So this is a word cloud, and you can write words or phrases that you associate with the word boss. Leader, superior, authority, power, authoritative, demanding. Yeah. Wow, demanding. Head, power. People in charge, someone in authority, responsibility. Strict, okay. Dominant. There are some negative connotations when we hear the word boss. Authoritarian. Dictator, wow. Ano pa? Someone in authority. So most of the time when we think about bosses, we associate that with somebody who is in authority, who is in control, who is in command, who will tell you what to do, who can be very exacting and will come down hard on you if you don't deliver what is expected. Yeah? Sige. Wow, ang dami-daming responses. Sige, so but we get the general idea, no? That bosses the term boss is not necessarily very flattering. So now let's look at what is a mentor. Okay, let's pick up what a mentor is from a definition, one of my favorite definitions of mentoring, from Lois Zachary in her book, Building a Mentoring Culture. She says that modern workplace mentoring is a reciprocal and collaborative learning relationship between two or more individuals who share mutual responsibility and accountability for helping the mentee work towards achievement of clear and mutually defined learning goals. Wow, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Okay, so what we will do is we'll try to break this down into keywords. Could you write in the chat box what you feel are keywords in this definition of what modern workplace mentoring is? Sige nga, let me see. Reciprocal, yeah. It is reciprocal. Collaborative, yeah, all right. Collaborative, accountable partner, mutual accountability, teamwork, yeah. Responsibility and accountability, collaborative learning. Okay. Yes, you are right. And it's helping, not the word helping stood out. It's really one of the helping interventions. Productivity, share. Okay. Sige, let me help you with this as well, no? So one of the first keywords here would be reciprocal and collaborative. So when you go into a mentoring relationship, it's not just the mentee who benefits, the mentor also benefits. And we will talk about that later. So it's reciprocal and it's collaborative. So it's not the mentor calling the shots. In actuality, modern mentoring is mentee-driven, meaning it's the mentee who decides the direction of the relationship. Another set of keywords would be a learning relationship. This is not a reporting relationship. This is not an administrative relationship. This is not a social relationship. It is a relationship meant to bring learning for both parties. Another set of keywords here would be share, mutual responsibility, and accountability. Okay, my favorite analogy here is I use the metaphor tango for mentoring because it takes two to tango. For a mentoring relationship to work, both parties need to put in time and effort to maintain that relationship. Huh? Oops. All right, and so the last set of words, keywords here would be achievement of clear and mutually defined learning goals. Now, this is very important in a formal mentoring relationship because sometimes you get people into a formal mentoring relationship and then they're supposed to meet regularly. And in my experience, when I conducted training for a company that already had a formal mentoring program, the mentor was saying, nauubusan kami ng pag-uusapan. I said, why? Didn't you set goals at the beginning of your mentoring journey? Kailangan pala ng goal. Of course, there has to be a goal, or else what will you be talking about for 6 months that you're together? Okay, so this is not just anything goes kind of a discussion. There has to be some clear directions about where you want this relationship to bring you. Okay, so that's a key characteristic of modern mentoring. So to summarize, we saw that being a boss is not necessarily flattering, but being a mentor is a more attractive term. Okay, because as a boss, your concern is productivity and performance. Your job is to make sure that results are delivered through the efforts of your direct reports. Whereas a mentor is concerned with professional or career development. It's not his job to make you more productive at work. That's not the job of a mentor. And that is why I always tell my clients, it is best that you have an offline mentor. An offline mentor means they are not the immediate boss of the mentee. Why? Because the boss will have role conflict because these two are kind of different. No? How you try to get performance, you give them feedback and then you coach them into doing certain things. And sometimes that gets in the way of your creating a safe space for your mentee to tell you all about themselves. Because if you're doing the evaluation and I'm your mentee, I'm not going to share with you what my weaknesses are, because you might take that against me, right? So if you're thinking about doing a formal mentoring program where it is the boss who will be the mentor, I tell you that's not going to work. Not in the Philippine context anyway. No? And then of course, a boss relationship is a reporting relationship, whereas a mentor is a learning relationship.
Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, Miss Maribel, you're on mute.
Okay. Okay, sorry for the interruption. My dog got distracted and wanted to go outside, so I needed to ask my son to set him outside. All right. So the boss, being a boss is a responsibility. Now that comes with your position. It is a responsibility. Whereas in mentoring, mentoring needs to be voluntary because it will require certain commitments from the mentor. Okay? So again, I tell my clients, oh, but they should mentor their people. That's right, but it's not going to work because the bosses will think that this is an extra job I need to do. I'm already having difficulty getting results from my direct reports, and here you are asking me to help them in their career journey. They are sometimes pressured, by that, because they see that as an additional responsibility. Okay. So let's try at this point, let's try to distinguish between a mentor and a coach. Sige nga. And to do that, we have, I'm sorry. Before we do that, let me just tell you a little story. When we went to Australia, I was an Australian award scholar, and we were sent to Australia to study mentoring practices, global mentoring practices. We also had this controversy about what is coaching and what is mentoring. So when I came back to Manila, I did a lot of research on this, and I found out that the reason people mistake coaching with mentoring is that they look the same. Okay, and these are the similarities that they have. Now, first of all, they are both development processes. Okay, what does it mean? It's not a one-time thing that you do. You need to do this on a continuing basis for it to work. Okay, it is relationship-based and goal-directed. What that means is you don't mentor somebody you don't have a good relationship with, because it has to start from a mutual respect, trust, and respect. And also, you need to have a goal in order for this mentoring to become meaningful to anyone. The approach of coaching and mentoring both uses conversation, and these are conversations that are meant to evoke insight from the mentee. The other thing that makes mentoring and coaching look the same is that they employ the same competencies. Competencies like goal setting, listening, asking powerful questions, giving feedback. These are all things that you also do in mentoring, in coaching. And then modern coaching and modern mentoring is coachee-driven, meaning it is really the mentee who decides where he or she wants to take the relationship. What competencies does he or she want to learn from the mentor? And finally, both coaching and in both coaching and mentoring, the content of the conversation is confidential. They're not the mentor is not supposed to be talking to other people about, you know what, Alma told me that. That's violating the trust that you have for each other. Now, let's see. Where does the difference lie? We have a poll for that to show you where the differences are. Sige nga, yeah, there you go. Please go ahead and answer these questions. Number 1, it focuses on tasks, skills, job performance. Is this coaching or is this mentoring? I wanted to answer all questions first. There are just 7 questions, and then we will tackle each one. So second question is, formal engagement has a timeline, informal engagement, maybe for a lifetime. Okay, what other questions do we have here? Managers do this for their staff. 4, it's more flexible. 5, it's easier to evaluate since results are more easily observed. And 6, it is an integral part of career discussions. And last, building confidence, discovering values, navigating the political landscape of the organization. Okay, so we have we have 50% of the participants answering. Sige, kahit mga 55%, okay na yan sa akin. Yan, okay na. Sige. So we can end the poll now? Sige. Stop sharing. Am I sharing the results? Are you seeing the results?
I think it should be seen by everyone.
Are you guys? Okay, yes, you're saying. Thank you for answering me. All right, so number 1, focuses on task, skills, job performance. You are right. That is the job of a coach. Meron nga pala tayong kanina, meron tayong clue from earlier. Second, formal engagement has a timeline. Informal engagement may be for a lifetime. This is mentoring. Oh, you are correct. In mentoring, when this begins as an informal relationship, it's usually a lifetime engagement. But in formal mentoring, we need to put a beginning and an end because mentors need to take on more mentees. And if you don't have an ending, the mentors will get overwhelmed and they will say, I already have so many mentees. So for a mentoring journey, for that cycle, you can have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 at the most mentees at a time. Then after that, you can move on to a new set of mentees. 3, managers must do this for their staff. Yes, this is coaching. It is imperative for the manager to coach people. The mentoring is really something that you do for selected individuals because only when people are ready for mentoring will mentoring work. But sometimes hindi po nga coaching yung kailangan nyo, sometimes counseling pa yung kailangan nyo if you have problematic employees. And it's more flexible. That's right. Mentoring is more flexible because you have more roles to play. When I run my training programs on mentoring, I introduce to them 8 roles that they can play during the mentoring journey. So it includes being a cheerleader, being a confidant, being a protector, etc. So there are many more things that you can do when you're mentoring than when you are coaching. Number 5, easier to evaluate since results are more easily observed. Okay, you are right again. This is coaching. Because when you do coaching, within the performance period that you're doing coaching, you should be able to see results. Whereas in mentoring, sometimes the results can be seen only maybe 2 or 3 years later. For example, if you're mentoring somebody to be more confident, I don't think in 6 months you can make somebody confident already. It probably has to take a while before they become completely confident or assertive. And then 6, integral part of career discussion. Yes, mentoring. When you start talking about careers, career aspirations, career goals, you're already in the mentoring mode. 7, build confidence, discovering values, navigating political landscape of the organization. Again, you are right. This is mentoring. This is not something that you can do over a short period of time. Discovering values is a journey. You need to really do a lot of reflection, discover values. And over time, sometimes values change. So again, it takes a while. Navigating the political landscape of of the organization. That's not something that you can learn from the books. You can only get that from somebody who's been in the organization for a long time. And again, that's not something that you learn within 6 months. It takes sometimes years for you to figure out where are the centers of power, who should I approach to get certain results, etc. Okay? Sige. So it looks like you got a perfect score, no, in all of the questions. So let me stop sharing now. And I'm just going to, yan, wala na yung ano, wala na yung poll. Okay. Sige, what I'm going to do is the next 2 slides are really just a summary of what you have learned from that particular activity. So in coaching, you focus on short-term goals because it's a really performance goals. While in mentoring, you focus on long-term goals. These are career aspirations, career goals. In coaching, you focus on performance skills and work issues, while in mentoring, you focus on career and personal development, as well as passing expertise, and there are technical mentors who are really good at what they do, and organizational values. Again, as I said, building, inculcating values takes a long time. In coaching, the concern is really the coachee learning, while in mentoring, it should be reciprocal. Even the mentor needs to learn. Now, this is a key item for me, because sometimes when you have a mentor who thinks they know everything, they are not open to learning anymore. They think that they're just going to download knowledge and information to their mentee. But in that case, it doesn't become a mutual relationship. So the mentor also has to have some humility to get into a mentoring relationship. So in coaching, you do that on a needs basis, because sometimes on the spot you see some a coachable moment and then you do your coaching there. When you're supervising somebody, you can also do scheduled coaching. So maybe every month we sit down and I can help you with areas that you have difficulty with. In mentoring, if you want a formal relationship, this has to have a scheduled conversation. So it's not just at any time. You sit down and do your mentoring conversation. Formal mentoring has a timeline. Informal mentoring can be for a lifetime. And in coaching, you ask powerful questions. Mentoring, you ask powerful questions, but here's the bonus. You can draw from the mentor's experience. Okay, here's a big thing for me again. You know, mentors, in being humble, they should be able to share with the mentee their challenges also, their mistakes, and what they learned from it. Because this is where the rich learnings come from. No? You learn from the mistake of your mentor. Life is too short for you to make all the mistakes. Learn from somebody else's mistake. And if you have a good mentor, they're open enough to share with you where they felt they failed, where they felt they failed, and what they learned from that experience. Okay. Coaching, it's easy to measure because, again, you have a performance standard and you compare the mentee's coach's performance against the performance standards, and you know that you've achieved something. No? But for mentoring, because the scope is wider and it's more personal, it takes a while to really measure the result. Sometimes it takes a year, 2 years, sometimes 3 years. Huh? I have a question. Why is this arrow not showing up? As a, yan. Bakit ganun? Okay. And also, when you evaluate mentoring, you use perceptual data, meaning it's really how the mentee and the mentor feel. That becomes the basis for saying this has been a successful interaction. Because sometimes at the end of the mentoring period, the mentee goal, the mentoring goal is not achieved, and yet people feel that, you know, I felt good even if I didn't achieve the goal. It made me think, it made me reflect, it made me evaluate what is important to me. Sometimes ganun yung effect ng mentoring. It's not really the goal that they set at the beginning. Huh? Okay, so that's the difference between coaching and mentoring. Now, let's talk about types of mentoring. And I'd like to find out what your experience have been. How many of you, sige, please share the poll now. Let us engage you in a quick poll. Tignan nga natin ilan dito sa room ang mentor, kapag mentor na, at ilan dito ang na-mentor na. Okay, while you're doing that, let me share with you a story. When I was in Australia, again, during my training on mentoring, we had a 2-day workshop with Anne Rolfe. You know, she's the heavyweight of mentoring in Australia. And the first question she asked us is, why do you want to become a mentor? And I thought about it and I said, well, you know, because all my life, I've never had a mentor. Oh, mabigat yun, ha? Parang may hugot. But after looking at these various types of mentoring, in the end, I said, it wasn't pala so bad. I had mentors. They weren't just very formal. Okay? So, yeah, because sometimes you're doing something for somebody, helping that person along in their growth journey, and you don't think it's mentoring, but actually it could be mentoring. So think about it. How many of you have mentored someone, and how many of you have been mentored? Oh, I'm seeing 76% of you say that you've been mentored. You're very lucky. Okay? I've mentored someone. Okay, equal number of people saying yes and no. But now we're seeing more no than yes. Okay, so we have 65% of the participants have answered. Maybe we can close the poll now. So it looks like there's an almost equal number of responses of yes and no for I've mentored someone. And for the question number 2, I've been mentored. A lot of you say that you've been mentored. Alam nyo, even if you say you haven't been mentored, I think your parents were your first mentor. Either your mother, if you're closer to your mother, or your dad, if you're closer with your dad. They are our first mentors. Okay. Sige. So let's look at the various configurations of mentoring. Should I share my slide now? I have a short video. It's a 1-minute video, and this is from Anne Rolfe. As I mentioned, she was one of our facilitators in Australia. I should share screen. There you go. Share. Okay.
Some of the many ways to mentor include informal, conversations or relationships that happen by chance or by arrangement, but casually and with no real structure. Formal relationships in a mentoring program supported by an organisation. Reciprocal mentoring, 2 colleagues mentor each other. Reverse mentoring, where executives are mentored by non-executives. Cascading mentoring, each level of an organisation mentor those below. Group mentoring, one mentor meets with several mentorees. Mentoring roundtables or mastermind groups where peers interact in a group mentoring conversation. Mentoring circles, a facilitated group where each person mentors one person and is mentored by another. And business mentoring and executive coaching with a professional directing and leading conversations.
Okay, so how do you feel about that? Did you know that there were so many possible ways by which people can mentor or be mentored? Okay, sige. So in summary, as a recap, let me just show you what Anne Rolfe just explained. So the first one is for, can we show that? Ay, ako pala dapat. Okay, yeah. One-on-one. It could be a one-on-one mentoring, but it could be group mentoring. No? You could have some people who have the same need, and here is somebody who can respond to all the needs of this group of people. That's called group mentoring. And then there's informal mentoring. Sometimes if you learn something from an individual on a regular basis, and you don't know that it's already mentoring. And then there's formal mentoring, when you have formal mentoring programs in your organization. There's also reverse mentoring. Now, this is interesting because this is where your young people are mentoring the executives. And this is mostly in the area of technology. In one of the utility companies that who's a client of mine, the executives are partnered with a young person who's good in technology, and they are taught even to use Facebook. So at least they know how to navigate social media. Okay. And then you have Cascade Mentoring, when it's the supervisor mentoring the subordinate. There's peer mentoring, somebody from the same level as you who you run to for sometimes not knowledge, not inputs, but clarity. No? Because this person knows how to ask questions, it helps you think, it helps you reflect. So mentoring doesn't have to be an exchange of information. It could be just helping you think through a situation. And then you have mentoring roundtable and mentoring circles, and then executive coach. Now, here's what I want you to do. Using the annotation button, you know where your annotation button is. The question is, which types of this have you experienced? Okay. Use the annotation button, mark the photo that reflect your experience. Oh, somebody said, Ronald said, I was mentored by a financial coach to learn how to manage finances. Good for you. Okay, how about you guys? How about the others? Can you get your annotation button, use the star or a heart, whatever shape you'd like, and mark it here in the slide. Sige lang, kahit dumihan yan, okay lang yan. Mabubura naman yan. Sige na, don't be shy. Sige, some people, yeah?
I think lang na there is no annotation. There might not be.
Wala. Okay, so anyway, use the chat box then. Annotation is disabled. Sorry. Okay, sige. Oh, my peer. So now you're seeing that peer, informal cascade, informal group. Okay, peer, one-on-one. Okay. Peer. Okay, so it seems like all of us have had experience in being mentored, no? which is what you answered in the earlier poll. Okay, informal mentoring. Wow, ang dami-dami. Okay, all of the above. Thank you, Danilo. Okay, sige. So now we've seen that you can have mentoring in many different forms and formats. Let's look at the benefits of mentoring. And you're saying that you've actually been mentored. So let's engage the participants again. See what their experience has been as a mentee. Can we show that the poll now? What is your best experience as a mentor? As a mentee first. As a mentee, kasi many of you said you have had experience being mentored. I thought I was not being mentored, but I realized that in the latter that I experienced it. Yes, Christine, that's a good awareness, isn't it? Seeing a clearer path. Yeah, clarity and direction. Good relationship. Okay. Learning experience, confidence building, feeling relieved, learned knowledge. Okay, discipline, when my progress is acknowledged, increased knowledge and wisdom, realization, being able to learn new things, and knowledge, affirmation. You know, sometimes just being affirmed already helps you grow. Being a servant, I've experienced peer informal one-on-one. Being a leader, I've experienced me. Okay. Feeling secured in expressing my concerns and worries. Receive trust, feeling motivated and inspired, realization, valued. Wow, you have so many positive experiences as a mentee. So really, you cannot lose if you are the mentee unless you have a really bad mentor. And I hope that you don't end up with a bad mentor. As a mentee, I was able to understand my purpose at work. Yeah, I know that young people now have a need to make sense of what they do, to find meaning and purpose in their work. Feeling motivated, feeling relieved. Roadmap was set. Okay. Building trust. And I'm sure all of these things happen because you trusted and respected that person who was guiding you. So it's very important that you respect and trust the person that you're going to work with as a mentor. Huh? Sige. Now, we see, I haven't seen anything negative. Have you guys noted any experience, negative experience? No, it's always positive being a mentee. Masaya talaga pag ikaw ang mentee. Okay, now let's move to the experience of being a mentor. As a mentor, what benefits did you enjoy or have you enjoyed or enjoyed if you're not mentoring anyone anymore? Self-fulfillment, new knowledge. Yeah, totoo yan, no? Kasi I also learned from my mentees. I have a millennial mentee who I learned from a lot as well. Mutual learning, okay. Sense of fulfillment, seeing growth and development, additional knowledge, reverse mentoring, being appreciated, knowing you helped and can help. Totoo yan, no? Knowing that you have been part of somebody's development can be a very fulfilling experience. Sharing one's knowledge. True. Kasi sayang naman all the experience and knowledge that you had over the years and then you take it to the grave. You did not even leave some to somebody, di ba? Sayang. So I highly encourage you to share your knowledge and experience. Become exposed to different thoughts and opinion. Tama yan, no? And also looking at the world from the young people's perspective. Ako, I find that very interesting. Their trust in me, okay. Encouragement. Being able to be part of someone's learning. Okay. I served as an example and role. Uy, totoo yan, without even saying anything, you can be a mentor by just showing a good example, being a positive role model. That's so true. Okay. New perspectives, yes. I got to listen to others and learn from them too. Tama. I like working with young people because I learn new things. I do volunteer work and that's where I learn a lot, When I was just starting moving my practice from in-person training to digital, you know that it's the young people who helped me transition. They were the ones telling me, ay mother, dapat ganito, ganito lang gagawin natin. And then they encouraged me. I thought that I will be retiring without having to do anything on online learning, but I was wrong. I was wrong. I had to learn how to deliver online learning. And thanks to my young peers who helped me through that transition. Okay, sige. So it looks like all of the experience of being a mentor is also positive. Meron ba kayong nakitang negative, Gabi, Alma? Meron ba? Did you notice anything? See, it's really a win-win thing for both the mentor and the mentee. Okay, sige. And I don't have to point out the benefits of the organization. You know that if both of you are feeling good, you are more effective in the organization. Now, I'd like to point this out, no? Kasi in the context of where we're at right now, we're siguro almost at the tail end of the pandemic. So what is the role of mentoring in a post-pandemic world? Well, we are not probably going to return to how it was before the pandemic. And we will continue to have work from home, or we might have hybrid setups. And I'd like to share a study that was done by Buffers in 2019 on the state of remote work report. Okay, and they were saying that these are the challenges of people who are doing work from home. No, 22 is being able to unplug after work. Dahil parang even after 5, marami ka pa ring ginagawa, no? Marami ka pa ring meeting after office hours, and then you're still working on paperwork. So the hours are actually extended. Work hours are extended. Also loneliness, because before you're just next to somebody and you can, exchange jokes with them during the break or maybe share experiences with them. But now you're just faced with a computer, and that can be really lonely. 8% are also having challenges staying motivated. Kasi nasa computer ka lang, wala na ka ng ibang ginawa. No? Some people even try to work while they're standing up. No? But still, it's difficult to stay motivated if all you have with you the whole day is a laptop or a computer. And 7 also have difficulty in collaborating. Now, when you have mentoring can foster growth and well-being if you do it correctly. And we're going to talk about that later. It can help alleviate the feeling of loneliness. It can help people reflect on their experience so they can do better next time. It also is good for your mental health because you're connecting with another human being at a more personal level. No? I'm sure itong mga pictures na ito nakaka-relate kayo dyan sa mga pictures na yan. Sige. So, what can we do to build a mentoring culture in the workplace? Okay, let me just start with this. Given what you know now about modern workplace mentoring, what can you do as a manager to build a mentoring culture in your workplace? Think about it. We learned a lot already about what modern mentoring is. I'd like to invite you to write your thoughts in the chat box at this time. Sige nga. If you want to develop a mentoring culture in your organization. Weekly meetup, check-in. Yes, Ivy. What else? Foster openness. Yes, yung safe space, important yun. No? People don't open up to you if you don't create a safe space. Develop rapport, check-in. Okay. Kapihan session. Yeah. Build trust. Know how to empathize. Yes, that's one of the skills of a mentor. Empathic listening. Listen and immerse yourself. Galing galing na mga answers ninyo So, siguro instinctively, you're already doing mentoring. You just didn't know that you were already mentoring, no? Daily kamustahan, okay. Open, friendly environment. Regular toolbox meeting. Create an L&D department. Okay. Sige, malaking project yun, doing bite-sized learning session. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Connection with people. Create huddle conversations to catch up with one another. Okay. Over coffee. Yes. Being advanced and being open-minded. Okay. Sharing resources. Connect with people. Yes. Know how to communicate. Meaningful conversation. Yun ang maganda sa mentoring. You have meaningful that's what I like best about mentoring. You can really do a deep dive in a certain issue or concern, and you feel safe sharing your inner thoughts and feelings with your mentor. Be transparent, no biases. Create good relations, be reliable. Wow, ang dami talaga. No, I get the feeling that you guys have been doing this mentoring thing. You just didn't have the label for it. Be a star. Ano kaya to? Sino to? Bilis na wala. Interpersonal skill. Good interpersonal. Oh yeah, you need that. Good interpersonal relationships when you're doing mentoring. All right, sige. So after having read and what you've shared, I'd also like to add to what you've already been doing, no? And some of this you've already mentioned in the chat box. Bakit ayaw mag-show ito? Next slide. There you go. Okay. So here are tips if you are the mentor. Check in with each staff at least every other week. At least, it can be more. And be genuinely interested with them. Now, don't just talk about work. Talk about, kamusta ka na? How are you doing? How's the family? How's the dog? Something more personal. Get into a deeper conversation with this person. And practice using coaching first, by the way, no? some clients come to me and say, I want you to help us develop a mentoring program. And I said, wait a minute, are you guys doing coaching already? No, we're not doing coaching. Maybe you should start doing coaching first, because the skills are the same, but the scope is more limited. No? So if you're doing a good job of coaching, you're ready to move into mentoring. Okay, and treat mentee mistakes as failures. Mistakes and failures as opportunities to learn. Now, if you're the boss, don't come down too hard on people when they make mistakes or they failed at something. No? See it as a learning opportunity. Reflect on it. Have them think about what they learned from the experience. Kasi sayang, no? People learn better from mistakes than they do from successes. So take advantage of all of this. Also, encourage many different forms of mentoring, like reverse mentoring. If you have young people, let them teach you new things. Encourage peer and reciprocal mentoring. And here's the thing, you don't have to be sharing knowledge all the time as a mentor. A better way of mentoring is really sharing wisdom. No, yung insight ninyo, what you learn, because these are not in the books. You know, knowledge, it's in everybody's fingertips now. You go to Google, you learn everything. But yung wisdom is not available in Google. No? So that's what you need to work on, sharing wisdom more than knowledge. And even if you're the boss, you could benefit from getting a mentor. Di ba? Sige, what do you think? Okay ba to? Boss must show a systematic, time-bound, accountable, and realistic. Okay? Sige pa. Ano pa? Any other thoughts? Okay. Now, if you're the mentee, and as I said, even if you're the boss, you could benefit from having a mentor. Before you get into a mentoring relationship, first be clear about what you want to get out of the mentoring relationship. Alam nyo, having a mentor is not just learning new things. No? A mentor can lead you to opportunities because they have a big picture perspective. They can see opportunities that you probably cannot see from your level. Okay? They can connect you to their own network. A good mentor will allow you to access their network. And you know, the bigger your network, the more things you're able to do. Okay? And it also helps create good relationships across the organization. So find out what it is you first want to get out of the relationship. And then find a career hero inside your organization. If you don't have any career heroes in your organization, be part of your professional organization. Okay? Like, for example, me, I didn't have a lot of career heroes when I was with Philippine Airlines. Now, that was my last engagement, corporate engagement. But when I joined the Philippine Society for Training and Development, oh gosh, the experts were there. Just sitting down and listening to them talk, I was learning so much. And it wasn't even a learning session. It was just kwentuhan. No? So learn from colleagues in the profession that they can be your career heroes. For students, you may have a favorite teacher that you can go to. You know, I had a favorite teacher in Ateneo. And even as we parted ways, she would say, oh, I'm in Manila, let's have coffee. You know, those coffee meetings that we had, I learned so much from her just listening to her talk about life, talk about experiences, talk about the industry. So dami-dami kong natututunan at kunti lang binayaran ko. Kapi lang yung akin doon, no? Pero ang dami kong natutunan. Okay? If you have identified this person that you'd like to be a mentor, speak to that person and invite them to be your mentor. Unless this person is awfully busy, they will probably say yes to you. Alam niya sa akin, ang dami pumupunta, Maribel, pwede ka ba maging mentor? Okay. See, hindi naman ako talaga tumatanggi. No? So it's actually flattering for people to consider you as a mentor. My most flattering experience being invited to be a mentor is when the oldest scholar of the Australian Award Scholarship came to me to say, Maribel, can you be my mentor? And I said, what? Kasi this guy, he was president of PSTD in the 80s. Now, and I looked up to this guy. He's like a titan in the industry. And then he applied for scholarship in Australia Award. And he got the scholarship. And he needed a mentor. And then he went to me to say, Maribel, pwede mo ikaw ang aking mentor? Oh my God! Me? I'm so much younger than him. But yeah, I said yes to it. And I felt very flattered that he chose me. Okay. And then when you talk to these people, present your goal and deadline for affirmation and support. Remember that you two will be working together to get the goal achieved. So you need to get the affirmation and support from your mentor. And finally, if you're the mentee, meet regularly and take charge of the relationship. It's not your mentor who will run after you. You need to run after your mentor because you're the one who's going to benefit the most from the relationship. Okay, so these are just my tips if you are the mentee. But guys, even if you're the boss, I still recommend that you get a mentor, whether it's an older person or a peer or a junior person who can teach you about technology. Kasi I'm a digital immigrant and I need guidance from people like Alma, who is a digital native, who was born with a computer in front of his face. My children don't even like to teach me. I have to learn from other people. They don't have the patience to teach me. So I learn from my young friends and colleagues in the industry. Yes, so that's it. What else? Oh, it's Q&A time. Is there anything you'd like to ask? Maybe, Gabby, you can help me with this. Baka kasi magdagsaan yung question. I don't know which one to start with.
Actually, I can help you with that, Maribel.
Yeah, please go ahead.
We have something prepared that will allow even our participants to ask questions. If meron dyan mga mahiyain, ayaw makita yung...
Okay, sure. Tingnan mo, may bago na naman ako natutunan kay Alma.
Ayan, we call this pigeonhole. And yan, if I'm not mistaken, you guys should be able to see it. So you can use your phones to scan the the QR code, or you could go to the link that is shared by one of our team members, si Joyce. Ayan. Okay. I think I've given enough ample time. I will now share the questions. Ayan. Okay. Miss Maribel, we already have our first question. Ma'am, are you still accepting a mentee?
Yeah, well, let's get to know each other first. Let's check for chemistry first. Kasi the people who approach me are people I already know. Okay? So if you want me to be your mentor, let's check out each other. Parang Tinder ba? Diba? Check out mo muna yung isa't isa bago kayo mag-work together. Can you be our mentor? Okay. Ito. This is a good question. How to differentiate between mentoring and counseling? Okay, you don't want to use counseling unless you have the professional license to do counseling. And, counseling is kind of tricky because you need to dig up on the past and what caused you to be this way. And we are not professionally prepared to do that. Hindi yan ang scope ng mentoring. Ipaubayan na natin na yan sa mga licensed psychologists to do the counseling. Mentoring lang tayo. Mentoring is really more forward-looking. Unlike counseling, you really need to go back to the past, determine what happened to you. Maybe you were dropped as you were a baby. That's why now you have feelings of insecurity. So hindi natin Hindi natin turf yan. Let's not get into that. Okay? Sige, what else? Let me see more questions. What other questions do we have?
Okay. Ayan. The next question is tips on how to mentor an introverted person.
Okay. Sige. My first question there would be, does this person want to be mentored? Kasi importante that the person that you're mentoring wants to be mentored. If you're just mentoring this person because he or she falls short of your standards, then the mentoring will not work. Because if a person is an introvert and they want to become an extrovert, they will respond well to you. But if they're not willing to change their ways, then you will waste your time and your energy. Okay.
Mm.
Sige, ano pa? Meron question kanina about career hero. Can we look at that? I saw something with career hero.
Hindi ako makaback. Ayan. Okay. How do we go back? I cannot seem to.
Wait, let me share.
There was a question here that had something to do with career hero. Ito na lang. If your boss is very old-fashioned, how can we start a mentor-mentee relationship? Teka muna. You want your boss to be your mentor? Ganun ba yun? Kasi, why do you want to get your boss to be your mentor when he's very old-fashioned? He will probably teach you old school thinking. And then this person might have, again, an old school perception of what mentoring is, and they will just be telling you what they think you should know or do. Okay? So maybe you want to explore somebody who's more open-minded, more progressive in thinking, etc. Okay? Sige. Next. What other question? I hope I'm answering your questions. Kung hindi, i-message na lang ako. Nasa Facebook ako, nasa LinkedIn. If your boss is, ano pa? Let's go to another. What if the career hero does not see the strength we see in them? For example, if I admire their work ethic and professionalism, but they don't see themselves that way. Siguro sit down with that person, just let them know that you appreciate what they do, you appreciate their work ethic, you appreciate your professionalism. You don't have to declare na, can you be my mentor? You can just say, hey, let's have coffee and let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. You don't have to have the labels. Hindi ba sa relationship, hindi naman kailangan labels. For as long as you two are happy in the relationship, you don't need labels. Ha? Nakaka-constrict ba nga yung labels na yan eh? So, forget the labels. Don't even call him mentor. Just call him a friend. I like this guy because he exemplifies somebody I'd like to be in the future. And the person, will be flattered. Oh, you really like what I do? You think I can help you with your... So, skip the labels if that's going to get in the way of your relationship. Ano pa? Let's have more.
Yeah.
Ito. Hi, ma'am. How do you initiate a mentoring program in a company that prioritizes sales over training and development program for... I don't. If the boss is not sold to mentoring, don't even think about introducing a mentoring program. You're going to get a lot of challenges with that, and I don't want you to get frustrated. Kasi pag hindi yan with the blessing of the boss, it's not gonna flourish. So sayang na yung effort mo. Ako nga, pag somebody asks me to, can we set up a mentoring program? I look at the executives first and I ask, yan ba mga executives yun naniniwala sa mentoring? Kasi kung hindi, huwag na tayo mag-set up ng program dahil sayang na yung investment ninyo. Put your investment somewhere else. Maybe what you should do is to introduce alternative learning interventions. And mentoring is one of them. Because ang alam ng executives natin, training eh. That's the only way we can develop people. What they don't know is there's a cost-efficient way of developing individuals in a more personalized way, and that's mentoring. So, huwag niyo muna introduce yung mentoring, basta sabihin niyo, we are going to explore alternative ways of developing people. Again, don't use the label first. Kasi, sometimes when you use the word, may concept na sila. Ay, hindi yan, kasi ganito yan. So just say alternative learning approaches. Okay? Sige. Or kung talagang gusto mong magkaroon ng mentoring program, lipat ka na lang sa ibang company that will offer you mentoring. Sige. Ano pa? What else?
We have really a lot of questions.
Sige, can you read out some interesting ones?
Oh, I have one. This one connects to the
Sige.
first question that we asked everyone in the room about toxic bosses. Kasi you can't escape it. What if a mentor is toxic? That doesn't mean you can learn from them, right? Or what can you do about it?
Your mentor is toxic. Okay. Kasi ang concept ko ng mentor may self-awareness eh. And if you are aware, you know that you're rubbing people the wrong way. Di ba? That's what toxic is eh. You're rubbing people the wrong way. And if you're not aware that you're doing that, you're probably not a mentor, not a good mentor. Well, you can still work with this mentor kung kaya mong sikmurain yung toxicity ng mentor na ito. It's like your terror teachers. Actually, you can learn from this person kung kaya mong sikmurain yung pagka-toxic niya. Because I remember in school, I had terror teachers. I hated them. But at the end of the year, I realized, oh, I learned so much pala from this person. Kasi wala naman akong choice, no? I need to go through the semester with this person. So yun. Kung kaya nyo, they work with that person. Kung hindi, find another one. Sige, what else?
Why don't we ask this question that has 6 votes?
Wow, 6 votes.
What if the mentor is using the word mentor but actually passing responsibilities to you? What should you do?
Okay. Hindi yan nag-training sa akin. Hindi nag-training yan. Kasi alam nyo, yung mentoring na yan, may parameters yan. Kaya when you have a mentoring program, I always tell the client, kailangan nyo i-train yung mentor ninyo kasi may boundaries ang mentoring. Hindi pwedeng passing responsibility. Uy, research mo nga ito tapos bigay mo sa akin yung data mo. Hindi yan. They're using you. That's not mentoring. No? That's abusing you. So, you know that he or she is not a good mentor. Okay? Sige, ano pa? Ito pa lang yung mga votes eh. Yung matataas ang votes.
Can you ask for a mentor inside your organization who is different from your boss? How to do it without offending your immediate boss?
Well, it depends on your immediate boss. If your immediate boss is open-minded and he understands that there are things you can learn from another person, then you can tell the boss. But if your boss is the kind na nai-insecure, na may control freak, he has to have control of everybody, they probably don't want to even mention it to the boss. But you can still go to the other person and again, do it subtly and just say, I need to learn something. Maybe a small item. I just need to learn how to do this, no? And then ask the person. Pwedeng ganun lang eh. So you don't have to, again, label it, mentor ko yan. No, just go to the person and ask, can you teach me how to do this? Ganon. Tapos kung open naman yung tao, they can help you. At kung talagang they have a generous heart, anytime you go to them, they have time to talk to you. Again, skip the labels.
Ito, Mentor M, this next question is actually very interesting. It's experiential for those who want to become mentors in the future. Hi, Mentor M. As a mentor, how can we know na tama yung sinasabi natin sa mentee natin?
Ano ba yung sinasabi natin sa mentee natin? If this is just downloading knowledge, then it's right if you're downloading the right information. And if you want to be a really good mentor, what you want to do is not to download knowledge, but to ask questions to draw from your mentee. Okay? Or you can even ask your mentee to do the research and then you can talk about, what did you find out from the reading? And then you start from there. Para the weight of the responsibility to give information is not on you. Hindi na ganyan ang modern mentoring. Ang modern mentoring, mag-research ka. Okay, pagkatapos mag-research, bumalik ka sa akin. Pag-usapan natin kung ano na-research mo. Ganun yan. Hindi na tayo yung provide ng dinadagdagan mo lang yung trabaho mo eh. The only real work is in formulating the right questions to draw out insights and lessons and learning. And it's not intuitive. You need to learn how to do that. You need to go through a program that will teach you how to ask powerful questions.
And mentor, mentor, I can actually relate with that person asking kasi I think that person's perspective is, as a mentor, I feel like a lot of us see that mentors are the ones giving advice, personal opinions on how you should be doing things, sharing their styles. Maybe his question was on that, no? okay ba to share my style or my advice even though I don't know if it's the universal right? Parang ganun.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, if you share your style, you will say, this is just one way of doing it. There may be other ways of doing it. You might want to explore approaching it differently. I'm just sharing my experience as an example. You don't have to embrace that as the answer to your question. Yung ganun. Pwedeng ganun eh. Pwedeng ganun.
Mhm.
Sige.
Okay, Gabby, maybe you
Thanks
want to
for that.
ask some questions.
This is interesting, pero I think we can interpret it in different ways. Pero siguro, since mentoring nga is like a new term thrown in our workplaces, ano daw yung pwede natin gawin to constantly challenge underlying beliefs and assumptions about these new practices?
About these new practices? What?
Yeah.
Teka. Context.
Siguro this is related dun sa mga boss na they're not open to the mentoring concept. So how can we challenge yung underlying beliefs and assumptions nila about it?
How to challenge underlying beliefs and assumptions. Kasi if the underlying beliefs and assumptions are no longer working, this is a good time to show na, sir, kasi ang isip natin, ganito yung mga tao, pero tignan mo yung nangyayari pag ito yung ginagawa natin. Baka iba na ho ang pananaw ng mga tao ngayon. So again, you're challenging the underlying without being too obvious about it. So makikita mo naman kasi kung ano yung effect ng underlying belief and assumption na yun. And if it's negative, then you can point it out as an observation. Kasi kung reflective yung boss mo, mag-iisip din yun, oo nga, pagka ito yung ginawa natin, ganito yung nangyayari. Baka nga mali yung assumptions natin. So, ganun.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, no, Mentor M. It's like you're encouraging openness, but also placing it in the nicest or best way possible.
Kasi you don't want to make the boss feel threatened, lalo na kung very strong yung ego ng boss. Naku, challenging that person would get you into trouble. Baka career suicide pa yan.
Yeah, that's so true. So I think we have time for just one more question because it's already 4:20. So let's take this last one, the highest voted one. Do you recommend close friends mentoring their friend? How do you set boundaries in such situations?
Again, you don't want to just mentoring tayong dalawa ha. Kasi I have a good friend. She was my classmate in UP Psych. She was my dorm mate in Kamya. She was my colleague in PAL. And we are very good friends. And we can talk about ideas and concepts, and we learn from each other. But we never considered ourselves mentors to one another. We just parang consider each other a wonderful sounding board and somebody to share ideas with. Sometimes kasi hindi mo naman kailangan ng input. Kailangan mo lang marinig yung sarili mong sinasabi yun so that it becomes clearer to you. And that friend of mine provides that safe space for me to think about certain ideas or certain beliefs. So we really like that. Nami-miss ko na nga kasi wala na siya dito sa Manila, nasa Tacloban na siya. It's not like before that we would have coffee and talk about anything and everything. But now we can't do that because she's out there. So, boundaries. Kasi napaka-formal yan eh, pag may boundaries. Pagka friend mo kasi parang wala namang boundaries yan. Kahit matulog ko pa sa bahay nila, okay lang yan. But when you are working with a formal mentor, that's when you really need to put boundaries. I have mentors who complain to me, what will I do with my mentee at 11 o'clock in the evening? She's texting me and asking me questions. My wife is getting upset because somebody's texting me at 11 o'clock. So I asked, did you set your boundaries at the beginning of your relationship? I know. Wala kasi kaming ganyan noon when we started. So yun, that's when you set boundaries, when you're working with formal mentors. But when you're working with informal mentors, lalo na BFF mo, wala yung mga boundaries na yan. Di ba? Makikitulog ka pa sa bahay nila eh. Di ba?
Yeah,
Yan.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mentor M, for sharing a lot of your insights on these questions. And thank you to everyone that asked questions. You guys actually asked many wonderful questions. And unfortunately, we don't have all the time to answer this. So we'll just move on with the last part of our program. And I think I want to start that off by thanking you, Mentor M, for joining us today. Okay, I will
It
show.
was fun. Thank you for inviting me. I really
Yes.
enjoyed the questions.
I actually want to present this to you, Mentor M. This is a certificate of appreciation from Positive Workplaces for you, Miss Maribel Aglipay, for generously providing your time and expertise as a speaker for our webinar today, which is From Bossing to Mentoring, the mentoring culture in the workplace, held today, April 19, 2022, signed by our CEO and CWO, John Baluyot and Nikki Vergara. Again, we want to thank you for imparting your knowledge for everyone joining us in the room. I know that we have learned so much. I was getting so many insights from people from different parts of their life. People na sa tingin, I feel like they're younger, they want to learn more. And even people who are older in age who were validated in their experiences as a mentor. And I feel like even they're open to learning more about what there is in the mentoring culture. So, Mentor M, if I could ask you, do you have any final thoughts that you wanted to share regarding this?
Okay. Being a boss, I hope that you will be more of a mentor after this webinar. And if you're a mentee and you have a deep desire to achieve certain career goals, do find a mentor. There's a lot that you can achieve when you have somebody to guide you in your journey. So yun lang.
That is perfectly said. Thank you again, Miss Maribel, and thank you
you.
to everyone attending. Of course, it doesn't end there. We still have some more that we wanted to say. Gabby, maybe you want to take this part?
Yes, so next week we are going to be our facilitator will be one of my mentors in PW, Jerry Pinpin. He is also our in-house coach. So he will be talking about Coach Leader Ka Ba, how coach leadership benefits teams. And that will be on April 26th. And then also next week on April 29th, we have Confident Leadership, drawing the line between leadership and friendship to our own mentor and CEO, John Baluyot. John, nandyan ka ba? Say hi!
Hello everyone. See you.
Yes, and I'm very excited. Please access our links so you can sign up for those webinars for free. And of course, I want to invite everyone to like our Facebook page. You can put this in your link, facebook.com/Positive Workplaces PH, or you can simply search Positive Workplaces. We are going to be one of the first few pages that will pop up. It does not hurt to give us a like so you can see what other content that we post on our social media websites. We also wanted to plug that tomorrow we Positive Workplaces is hosting the Foundation for Philippine Environment 2022 National Summit for Biodiversity Conservation. In the chat, we have a representative that should be sending the free registration. We also have a certificate of attendance for this. Take some time off your day to see if you want to listen more about these programs that we have set. If you want to learn more about this, you will see this on our Facebook page as well. We highly encourage those that want to learn more about biodiversity conservation or how to collaborate to think of concrete ways to help solve the problem. And this is another course that we have running within Positive Workplaces. We have Strategy Planning 101, which is led by our very own CEO, John Baluyot. So this is a public course. We can also send the link in the chat if you're interested in this. So just note that we have first-time enrollees promo as well as group rate promos as well. And last, this is my last piece before I thank everyone. But if you were interested in this amazing talk that Miss Maribel was able to deliver, and you're interested in a lot of other products and services that Positive Workplaces does, like webinars, trainings, and courses, please email us at learn@positiveworkplaces.org. Ako yung makakausap nyo. And we can set up a meeting and see what we can do for you. And lastly, we are now going to be sending our post-evaluation form in the chat for you guys to fill out. Ayan. Once again, thank you so much, Mentor M, for joining us this afternoon.
Sige. Alma, I sent a PDF of some of the materials. You can share that with them. Pag fill up sila ng post-course evaluation, you can send them the material.
Okay. All right. So to aid that process, and please ensure na when you answer the post-evaluation form, send us an email if you want to have access to Mentor M's learning materials. So thank you for that, Mentor M. And of course, thank you everyone for spending your afternoon with us. It was a very delightful 1 hour and 30, and I hope that you all learned a lot. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Ay, before we go pala, before I forget, if you can, please turn on your camera para tayo.
Oh, class picture, of course.
Mag-photo op tayo. Okay. Again, don't be shy, but also no pressure if you don't want to turn on your camera. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Ayan.
O, wag mo na mag-chat para hindi lumabas yung chat dun sa screen.
Okay. Okay yan. Wag mo na mag-chat. Dami nagte-thank you. Okay. 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 Please hold your smile. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay. Hold nyo lang yan. I am so delighted to see so many people turning on their camera. Umabot tayo ng 6 pages of on-camera. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If the message got buried, we're going to be resending the post-evaluation link if you're interested in that. Ayan, thank you for our support, Joyce. And thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.